What's the truth here from your research, Roger Stone?
Well, Alex, my sources tell me that Paul Ryan is trying to manage two problems, and therefore I think this leak is credible. First is the fact that he was aware of the Awan brothers, the two Pakistani IT consultants who penetrated the House of Representatives computer system, stole over $16 million, and were able to access the email back and forth of 45 individual members. He knew about this as early as last September. Would have been a bombshell issue for the Republicans, a big boost to Trump. But rather than bring this forward to the American people, Ryan covered it up until January. Secondarily, I think we're going to learn, as we reported exclusively and first on InfoWars, when Republican money man and hedge fund manager Paul Singer financed the first iteration of the so-called dirty dossier, what you termed Peepygate, I believe we're going to learn that Paul Ryan knew about it and was involved in that subterfuge to undermine Trump.
Well, that makes sense. He was backing Jeb Bush at the time, even though Jeb Bush had 2 percentage points in most polls. He got more money than all the other 16 Republicans combined, and Paul Ryan was out there, gallivanting around. So this just goes on. And, of course, he was the buddy with Mitt Ryan all along and his running mate. And so that makes perfect sense. Are you saying that's your guesstimation or that's the intel you've got?
That's the intel that I have, that he's trying to manage both of these problems, which is why today's story now becomes entirely logical, that he would get out ahead of these two stories breaking. But I think that he's read the handwriting on the wall. Let's not forget, he suspended his support of candidate Trump towards the end of October. Trump won without him, and he has systematically worked to undermine the president since then. That said, the House's track record of passing Trump legislation is far, far superior to the Senate. I don't think anybody will be sorry to see Paul Ryan go.
Now, this came out in Politico, and he basically says he's looking at it. The Washington Examiner, that does a lot of great work, they're saying that he's laughing it off. And I'm here trying to read both these articles. I mean, this just broke 10, 15 minutes ago. And it sounds to me like he's testing the waters here in classic fake conservative fashion.
Either that or what we have here is a premature leak. And therefore, this got out before he wanted it out, and therefore he's going to prevaricate.
Sure. He wanted the tax reform victory first to make it look like he was a kind of a conservative, then segue out for a while, and then clean things up, and then try to come back in a presidential run?
Well, I don't know that he comes back and runs for president, but I do think that he wants to get the kudos from Wall Street because, as you know, they have loaded up the president's tax cut bill with a lot of benefits for Wall Street. There's a lot of favors in there for the big boys. So my guess is that he's looking for a soft landing. If he delivers for Wall Street within the tax cut bill, he could then move on to a far more lucrative life. As you know, Washington is a revolving door.
Well, we've got a big favorable, unfavorable trend rating report that the Huffington Post is reporting on. It's, I guess, an index of different polls. But his unfavorable is just skyrocketing right now, upwards to 50%, 49.3, favorable 29. That's the left's little darling like McCain. So that says a lot right there.
Look, I think it would be positive if he leaves for the president. Of course, we're going to have an immediate squabble to see who would replace him, and it's early to do that handicapping. But if I had to place a bet today, I think he's going. You're absolutely right. He's waiting till he gets his kudos from Wall Street in the tax cut legislation before he announces it.
Sure. I mean, why not get somebody real and hardcore? Why not get a Trey Gowdy or a Jim Jordan and not one of the guys that's proven he's an old party hack? Don't we want, a stormtrooper here? Don't we want a shock troop? Don't we want somebody like a Trey Gowdy or a Jim Jordan?
Yeah, we need a firebrand, but as you know, the U.S. House of Representatives rarely works that way. Usually it's the next guy in line.
Yeah, it's like this royalty. I'm sick of this crap. We should have a popularity contest with conservatives and libertarians.
We need somebody out of the Freedom Caucus. We need somebody who's a non-establishment free thinker. But there's plenty of time for that. I guarantee you right now the handicapping and the crib sheets of vote counting have begun.
Well, sure. I mean, going off their normal fossilized imperial, Egyptian style or British royalty style secession system, who's next in line for the royalty?
I think it is whoever is the chairman of the conference. Look, it's likely to be some established Republican non-entity. Look at the people who have held this job. So we'll be digging into that almost immediately. And the vote counting.
Wouldn't it be great to have a firebrand like Trey Gowdy or Jim Jordan who are smart and actually care about the country? That would be great leadership.
And tough, more importantly, tough and as partisan as the Democrats are. No, it's funny because Paul Ryan comes from, he claims to be an acolyte of the late Jack Kemp. He comes from the right, but he is really, particularly on immigration, he is particularly an establishment Republican.
And he's a big leaker to the media and works with the globalists. He's such a piece of garbage. I've heard little birdies tell me there's a lot of dirt on him. I mean, not just the hacking of his emails that the Democrats have been using, but a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of reasons why Eddie Munster, all grown up, why Eddie Munster meets Count Dracula, why Count Chocula is leaving.
Well, so you've got the Awan brothers cover-up, the Debbie Wasserman Schultz cover-up. You've got his connections to the dirty dossier. More than that, we don't know. But let's remember, we're still waiting for the list of congressmen and senators who have had to pay out billions in taxpayer funds to settle sexual harassment suits.
That's right.
I'm not saying that Ryan's on the list, but what does he know about the list? And why hasn't he told us who's on the list? Exactly.
All right. Roger Stone, Infowars.com, political correspondent. Thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, folks. Now, I wanted to go to calls 30 minutes ago, but there's been so much breaking news. The whole next hour is your phone calls and a bunch of key clips and breaking news. But the big stuff like this breaks, we'll have to obviously pop in. Got some clips of Trump and his big speech on tax reform, hairstay, and more coming up next hour. But Kevin and Cindy and all of you, you're just going bam, bam, bam. I'm going to go to your calls when we just come back in just a few minutes. Briefly, store-wide free shipping, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com takes you right to the supplements. Cellforce is our brand new product that has all the mitochondrial, DNA boosting, the energy, all the great things, the antioxidants, the very, very highest quality at a massively reduced price. That's what we've been working on, is sourcing these high-quality compounds and then getting them to the lowest price. I had to buy a ton of it to get the price down. But despite the fact the price is down, 50% off out of the gates on Cellforce at InfoWarsLife.com for this Christmas and free shipping. You sign up for AutoShip to get it shipped in a month or two, whenever you want. You get additional 10% off. You can't beat that. InfoWarsStore.com. Please support us. Please purchase the products. You need them. They're great. And it funds the revolution against the globalists. So your support is critical.